good day, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Seven, live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Aaron Dovid Poston. I so appreciate him staying up late, especially these trying times in Jerusalem. It's late there, 11:30 p.m., and yet here he is sharing with us Torah. And we're continuing with the 48 ways to wisdom. And today we've got part 22. So let's just jump right in, see how the rabbi's doing. Rabbi Poston, always good to be with you. And I so appreciate you doing this class.
Shalom Aleichem, Dan, and welcome to all of the viewers who are watching right now or watching later, of course. Thank you so much for all you do. So yeah, it is trying times. In fact, right now it's 11:30 in Jerusalem on a Saturday night. What is today's date? The May 15th. This is trying times. You know, we're talking about Israel's, even the secular date, the Day of Independence for 73 years ago. This is in Jerusalem Day. We just talked about it. There was bombardments of missiles. This is a religious war. There's no political solution. I don't mean to give anybody depression, but actually this is a good thing, meaning there's no political solution. And we have to win. We have to fight this war to the end. And I'm not, somebody asked a question in the last class. Look, we want to pray for Jerusalem. We want to pray for the safety of the Jews. We want to pray for the success of the Jewish people and their mission. That's exactly what a Noachide should do. But at the same time, if they're asking, look, I'm afraid, what about all the possible potential deaths of sin? I'm using the word innocent Arabs or Muslims or Gazans or whatever. Yeah, one should also pray for the innocents. There definitely are. We don't know the percentage, doesn't really matter. But definitely hope that Israel bombs the heck out of the terrorists. Because it's one of the 7 Noachide laws, right? You're not allowed to commit murder. And in war, right, usually the military fights military. But guerrilla warfare, or let's say terrorist warfare, they're going after civilian center, right? They just made a proclamation that at midnight they're going after Tel Aviv. They're going to probably, I don't want to, predicting, I'm not going to open my mouth, but what they have done in the past is they try to overwhelm the defense system, which is called the Kibbutz Barzel, the Iron Dome, which is, high tech. It's high tech, but nevertheless, if you shoot a certain amount, I'm not gonna reveal what the amount is. If they shoot a certain amount, there is a greater percentage possibility of certain rockets getting through the defense system, and we're talking about murder. It's outright murder.
Yeah.
So you should pray. I really believe you should pray that the terrorists, the murderers, should be eliminated for sure, because they're in the act of committing a heinous crime. And so I think that it should be clear that one should pray for the defense system to work.
Yes.
Israel,
with you. For you.
I'm going to use the word offensive measures. It's really defensive measures, but you know what I mean. An offense against, the incoming rocket launchers themselves and the infrastructure, the top brass, as they call it. And that's it, because you don't have to, we're not after any innocence. We're not trying to defend ourselves against innocent bystanders. They're okay. Actually, tonight's topic, let's get into it. As we mentioned before, this is based on Rav Noach Weinberg's teachings. This is beautiful. This is the book, right? The 48 Ways to Wisdom. We're on number 22, which interestingly enough is called Erech Apayim in Hebrew, which means long patient in taking out his frustration. So erech means long, apayim, af, which is plural. So it's af is nose, apayim means nostrils, basically. So when someone gets angry, their nose flares, like the old idea of a dragon shooting fire out of his nose or mouth. I don't believe in dragons, but the concept of this, fury is coming out of the nose. So too, this is how we when we're frustrated, this is what happens to us. So the idea is to cause it to linger, not lingering in the sense that you're frustrated and you're going to be frustrated longer, but holding back your frustration. Here we're calling conquering your frustration. That's going to be the title. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I basically summed up into like an outline form some of the ideas that the Rav discussed in his chapter. And the main thing, the first thing is that we have to know that we can control our emotions, right? And remember, this is ways to wisdom. So if we don't control it, it will hold us back from our success in gaining wisdom. It will hold us back from success. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but when we want to succeed, hopefully we're using wisdom to succeed. And the frustration is mubal bail. It causes, less concentration. You're no longer thinking about your plan of success, but thinking about that person or the situation that was so frustrating. It can actually overwhelm you. You let the person or the situation. I'm going to say you rent free in your mind, in your heart, and you're not able to succeed, and you're certainly not able to think straight or correctly. And that's going to be the main idea of controlling our emotions. The example that the Rosh Yeshiva opens with is if you're in a car, let's say you bought a brand new car, you have a very nice car, even if you don't have a nice car, it doesn't matter. You're in a car, and somebody comes and, maybe they sideswipe you, maybe they give you a dent, maybe before you jump out of the car, you're thinking to yourself, who is this? What is this? And you're getting all frustrated and you want to go out and ring the guy just to, give him your mind's worth, and whether you have insurance or not, it's irrelevant. You're frustrated. You're going to have to.
The newness is gone.
Go to right, exactly. Go to your insurance company, make all these claims. You can have a million things running through your head, whether it's, oh my God, it's a brand new car. I can't believe this happened to me. Or I'm going to have to take some of my valuable time and, spend it filling out paperwork and going to the police, who knows what, whatever it is. And you're all frustrated, and you can probably have different things going around, different movies, different recordings going in your head, what you're going to say to this person, how you're going to react, and they're not very nice. And then you get out of the car, and the guy's like 8 foot tall, 400 pounds, and you kind of swallow your tongue and like you say, excuse me, sir, I'm so sorry this happened. Oh, it doesn't look like it's such a bad thing. Let's just exchange information and I'll be on my way, as opposed to what you actually thought you were going to say, right? And how many times when you run into someone who is actually mentally challenged or physically challenged, and, you're waiting in line and someone's holding up the line and you're kind of, frustrated, maybe pushing your way a little bit, whether it's verbally,
Impatient.
physically, or in your head, you're about to blow your top, and then you take a look and the guy or the woman is in a wheelchair or with crutches, or maybe they're 70 years old, whatever, or mentally challenged, right? I mean, and you will then see your emotions are going to be totally different once you recognize or realize that's what's happening here. It's not what you
feel. Yeah, I feel like a heel.
Totally, had their wits about them and just causing a holdup, right? This is a real situation that requires a lot of patience and love. Well, if you know that you can control your emotions because you know that you had this, mind frame and then it switched, right? Reframe, so to speak. So too, you can do that even without, because the truth is many people, even though they look normal, they act normal, everyone's got issues, and you can have a little bit more rachmanut, a little bit more, patience, because, I run into so many people, they're all kinds of medication. Man, that person's a very difficult person to deal with. And then you find out that they're, bipolar, or they had trauma when they were kids. And all of a sudden now you're like full of, you have empathy and you have some kind of sympathy. So, it's a good thing to know that you can control your emotions to begin with. So again, how is this a path to wisdom? To live with more patience. It's going to be very important. How many times do we slam a door, crash a plate, or yell in rage, right? We lose our tempers, right? So there is an
when we
idea.
were young.
There is an idea brought down in the Gemara. Let me just find it real quick. I don't know where it is. Let's see. Okay, it's in Gemara Shabbos 105b. Rav Avin said, I think we'll go down to Reb Shimon ben Eliezer, who said in the name of Reb Chilfa bar Agra, who said in the name of, this is the most beautiful thing about the oral Torah, right? We're quoting our Rebbe's, right? This is very,
right. Yeah.
One who rents,
chain.
Huh? Say that again?
In the chain.
One who rends his garments in his anger, who breaks his vessel in anger, or scatters money in anger, would be like an idol worshiper in your eyes, as that is the craft of the evil inclination. It's based on a verse in Psalms 81:10. Do I have that here?
Pull it up.
Yeah.
Psalms 81. Ten reads, "No strange god shall be within you, neither shall you prostrate yourself to a foreign god."
So just imagine, I mean, we all have what we call a Yetzer Hara, an evil inclination. So when that is controlling us, I mean, we're making a decision, whether you like it or not, right? You have the ability to control yourself. But it gets the best of us, and it's akin to idol worship. Lo yeh b'cho el zar. El is power, right? It's another name for God, a god. You should not have within you a foreign god, this power that's within you. And don't prostrate yourself, le'el necher, to a foreign god. So you understand how we're explaining how it's akin to idol worship. So I did mention, and I'll just mention it again, I mentioned in my other class, if somebody raises their hand to another human being, remember, man is made in the image of God. You're called a Rasha, an evil person. So you have to think, right? We're going to talk about this, how to conquer your frustration. This is not good for you. And we're going to talk more about how when you have a plan to succeed and you're no longer thinking about it. Your mind is totally twisted with anger or frustration. You're not thinking straight, you're not thinking correctly, and there's no way you're going to achieve your success. It's going to stop you. And this is what we need to do. If you want to succeed, you have to conquer your frustration. Okay, so what about times we quit? We quit things out of frustration. We lose our patience. Now try to appreciate the enormous loss you incur by giving up and caving into your frustrations. How it would hold you back from success by achieving your goals and causing yourself damage. How often, right? We say, okay, I have a plan, a long-term plan, and we don't realize, okay, it's fine. We didn't put all the effort into figuring out the cost, the time, and as we're going through the process towards achieving what we want, we get frustrated. Oh my God, it's a lot more money. Oh my God, it's a lot more time. Well, I don't have the abilities. So you can reframe, and like if you have your eye on the ball, so you could readjust and say, okay, you have to know, is it worth it? Was my original idea to accomplish this somehow so beneficial to me? And then you're going to have to weigh out the costs that you just now realize, right? And when you originally made the plan, you thought it was, let's say, lower cost, lower efforts, and now it's much more. But still, keep your eye on the ball. When I made the decision to try to accomplish this, how important was it? And now, how important is it? Is it still as important as I thought it was originally. And so what if the costs go up? So what if the time is more, right? And time is valuable. It's going to take more time. So what? Now I have to think it through. You may have to readjust. But when you get frustrated and quit, to start up again much later could cost you, you may not succeed at all. But if you're already in the game, so to speak, and you're already investing your time and energy just to reframe may, at the time, help you accomplish what you need to, as opposed to quitting and starting all over again many months or years later, or having regrets. So many people do quit out of frustration, and hopefully, right, we had a clear mind when we originally thought about it, and you have to rethink again. Another side effect to this idea is a tremendous loss of self-confidence. Right? We run away from tough situations, we abandon projects, and they surely erode our trust in ourselves and confidence within our own ability to carry out any future undertaking. It creates a credibility gap within ourselves, right? Such a loss of either self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem. So ask yourself, how many projects have you never started because you didn't believe you were going to carry them through and finish them? And that's based on past experience, of course. This lack of confidence or self-credibility is extremely destructive. It totally undermines your confidence in your ability to tackle meaningful goals and pushes you to stay within your comfort zone, which is horrible. I understand comfort zone today is a big deal. We do need to feel somewhat comfortable, but guess what? Nobody ever becomes great. There is no greatness that is achieved through trying to find your comfort zone or some kind of safe box of mediocrity, right? You need to push yourself. So we're going to talk about using your frustration in a positive way. Like, I never took acting, okay? But I heard, right, that when you get up on the stage, there is a certain amount of nervousness, right? Now, what you're supposed to do, what they tell you to do, is to, streamline or garner, take that nervous energy and actually use it. Now, how that's up to you, and it may take a lot of practice to figure it out. But to take that, we'll call it a seeming weakness, and use it to your advantage, right? So, to the frustration, like if you're extremely motivated and passionate about something. So it could be that if you take that frustration that could be used negatively, as we just discussed, how it could actually cause you to quit, but to streamline it or to garner it and to push it, use that frustration in a clear-headed way, because it's what's driving you to move forward. So that's another idea. One of the things our Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Noach Weinberg, said, to say I can't do it, it's akin to idol worship. Because who says you can anyway? It was all Hashem, right? My brains, right? My ability to think and come up with chidushim, novel ideas. Hashem brings that to me, and I pray for it, and it comes, right? So who am I to say I can't? By saying I can't, it was like you were thinking you could to begin with, when it's not you. It's like you have to go backwards to understand that point. But so if you say it's impossible, it's impossible, out of frustration, it's impossible. Now I'm not talking about something external. We're talking about something you could do. So don't accept this idea at face value, even when you say it. Don't think it, don't say it. But if you do, don't take it at face value. Don't accept it like that. It's not you that can't do it, or that the goal isn't worthwhile. All you're doing is rationalizing to yourself. Try to get yourself off the hook from putting in that sustained effort and the extra energy and time in order to succeed. But then decide whether it's worth it or not. If you come to the conclusion, based on your amount of time and other priorities at the time, you could come to the conclusion it's not worth it now. But if you do decide that it's worth it, do it with confidence. Don't allow yourself to quit until something happens beyond your control. In other words, when you make efforts and everything is against you, right? Just seemingly one, trial after another, you fail. It doesn't always mean you should give up, but you have to consider whether it's worth it. Again, if you do it with confidence. But once you realize things are not working, then you actually should allow yourself to I guess, retreat from the idea for now. You can always go back to it. Don't allow yourself to quit until something happens beyond your control. Keep telling yourself all the effort is worth it. Now, there's another Gemara that talks about this idea. Let me find it.
Yeah.
I think this is it. This is in Megillah 6b. Rav Yitzchak was talking about something previously. He says, if a person says to you, I have labored, meaning I made all the effort, and I didn't find success, you don't believe him. But similarly, if he says to you, I didn't labor, and I did find success, you don't believe him either. But if he says to you, I did labor, and I did find success, you do believe him. Now, it goes on to different things, whether it's talking about matters of heaven or matters on the earth, but that's irrelevant, I think, at this point. The main idea is winners never quit. Winners never quit. Rav Noach Weinberg himself, he successfully had a Torah as a flagship yeshiva. Now, I have to tell you, he spoke about this a lot, so it's not a negative. He says, I started 5 other yeshivas, and they all failed. Wow. Had I not started those 5 other yeshivas and failed, I never would have started Eish Torah, right? Because whether it was lessons learned, whether it was his frustration that, he was able to garner and figure out which route to go, or, just to clarify constantly through the failures. We all know there's an idea of, and I think I have the verse here, that a tzaddik, it's in Proverbs 24:16. If you want to read that.
24. 16 reads, for a righteous man can fall 7 times and rise, but the wicked shall stumble upon evil.
So you have to, what does it mean 7 times? Interesting, because especially talking to Bnei Noach. A righteous man can fall 7 times, but he gets up every single time. That's going to be the difference. The wicked person will stumble and fall and not get up. So I have a comment here, and I think I wrote it myself. A righteous person sometimes stumbles and makes mistakes and overcomes their frustration and keeps trying again and again. Repeated falling and getting up again. This is what makes a person great. Accept that reality has its ups and downs. That's what reality has. Do not become discouraged. You can overcome, since God never gives a person a challenge that the person cannot handle. Now, this is based on Psalms 147:17. Now, it's not so clear, this is the source, but it's worth looking into. Rashi mentioned something here, but go ahead if you want to read Psalms 147, verse 17.
17 reads, he hurls his ice like crumbs before his cold. Who can stand?
So like I said, it's not so clear in the verse, but basically Hashem adjusts each person's load according to the amount he knows that person can carry. Like a good coach, God will not raise the hurdle higher than we can jump, because that would doom us to failure. He's actually rooting for our success, especially matters of spiritual growth. If we overcome our frustrations and put in the necessary effort, Hashem will enable us to succeed. Okay, let me go back to my outline. And work on repairing your self-confidence. Take a look at the list of things that you have accomplished, projects that you finished, and look at the list of projects that you quit. When you take a look at the ones you quit, choose one of them and undertake to see it till its end and make sure to get the job done.
Right.
This will help rebuild your credibility, your self-confidence. The only time to throw in the towel is once you have reached the objective conclusion that the goal is not worthwhile. So what? You misjudged how much time and effort what was necessary to achieve success. The next idea is always give yourself 5 more minutes, right? Frustration comes from impatience, mostly. I mean, it's also a lot of arrogance. So, like, it has to happen now, right? For me. It has to happen for me right now. Go ahead.
Well, I've heard the rabbi share that this impatience you're talking about, this anger, the way it's linked with idolatry, it's like a baby stomping their feet, wanting to be heard, demanding it their way, really childish, like impatience, like you're talking about.
Very good. So the Yetzer Hara is your lower self, and it's a master in tricking you into submission. The common tactic, I just lost all my papers. 1 second. Where did they go? Oh, there they are. A common tactic is to rationalize and convince yourself just one more bite won't hurt you, right? And then we're talking about then the Yetzer Hara. Or, I'll just surf the web for 5 more minutes before I go back to my studies, right? So once you cross that line, the battle's over. You lost. So you should use the same strategy to stop from quitting, right? In other words, we discussed the idea in the very beginning, how to take your frustration and readjust it, not use it for negative, but use it for positive. Be passionate, be stubborn to a certain extent, right? So here, let's say, reward yourself, right? Say just another 5 minutes of learning, and then I'll be able to rest, right? Just another few minutes of this, or another few minutes of keeping my mouth shut, right? And I'll reward myself with an ice cream, right? How often can we just, in little, like bite size, right, things, such as 5 more minutes, try to listen calmly without getting frustrated or losing your temper. Frustration is much easier to deal with in small doses. So getting through those first 5 minutes puts you into a positive mindset. Another idea is to really try to keep yourself in a positive mindset. We talked about joy before, right? When prophets would experience any kind of depression or sadness, they would lose their prophecy. So wisdom is a sense, it's a certain degree of clarity, right? That's what it is, and that's what prophecy is as well. So just know we're trying to get wisdom. So the frustration is like the opposite of joy. It's the opposite. So you can reframe yourself and try to stay in a state of joy. Now there are different tricks, right? You could think good thoughts, again, self-confidence, credibility, even just in keeping your mouth shut. By the way, it's very interesting. At the end of our prayers, which we do 3 times a day, there's a statement that we say, "My God, guard my tongue from evil and my lips from speaking deceitfully." So keeping your mouth shut is so important, but it's also in the mind. But here it's talking my tongue and my lips. "To those who curse me, let my soul be silent." So again, being silent even to those who have negative ideas against you. "Let my soul be like dust to everyone." In other words, humility. It's not about me all the time getting what I want, but asking God to open my heart to your Torah. "Then my soul will pursue your commandments. As for those who design evil against me," right? And this is getting into the question, what do we do with those terrorists? "Speedily nullify their counsel," we're asking Hashem, "and disrupt their designs." Okay, that's the prayer that we add 3 times a day at the end of our, it goes on, I'm just not reading the rest. But most important, know that life is a challenge, right? We all know that Yaakov Avinu, I shouldn't say we all know, but Yaakov Avinu sought shalva. Shalva means tranquility, and that's when he lost Yosef, right? Yosef was sold, the whole thing. He went into, we'll call it a depression. He lost his ability to have prophecy for 22 years. He sought shalva. He looked for tranquility, and bang, right? Hashem took that shalva away from that possibility of shalva, which means tranquility, away from him. Know that life is full of challenges, and that means you're alive, right? Life is not free from frustrations. The Almighty sends us challenges, big and small, as our chinning bars for growth. In other words, it's going to allow us to, I guess, strengthen our muscles in spirituality and in character development. Speaking about trying to stay in a constant state of joy, take things in stride, right? And we're serious people. Some people are more serious than others, right? But joy is one of the greatest tools in eliminating anger and frustration. Sad people have less patience and tolerance for things like. Imagine the difference in reaction when someone steps on your toe, right after you won the lottery. So if someone steps on your toe, you're already in a bad mood. I don't know what you're going to say, how you're going to react, but it ain't going to be nice, okay? But let's say you just won the lottery. It's unbelievable. Someone stepped on your toe or even hit your car or whatever. It's like no big deal, right? You slip and you fall, but you're like jumping for joy. You just won $1 million. Okay, it's right off your back, right? You brush it off, no problem. Feeling upbeat and relaxed helps keep your frustration and anger in check. This is a real exercise for those people who experience frustration on a regular basis. You need, I'm not going to say anger management, I call it frustration management. Figure out a way to meditate when you're already in a good mood. Take that exercise, right? Because that, to me, that was one of the benefits I found in meditation. You do this exercise and you become so ragil, so used to it, that feeling, that then you take the abilities that you created for yourself to get into a certain state. And then when you're experiencing frustration or even whatever the challenges of day-to-day life, you could bring on, you could remember, right? Because there's a remembrance of that emotion and feeling, and bring it on at that moment. And that should be a goal, to try to stay in a constant state of joy, to help you in your frustrated moments. Side benefit, it also improves your health, right? Fewer ulcers, lower blood pressure. You don't have to wait to win the lottery to receive these benefits. Anyway, this is, I think, one of the last points is don't just tolerate frustration. Learn to love it. People sometimes pay good money. Take, for example, a jigsaw puzzle, right? So you take a I don't know, whatever it is, $10, $20, whatever, and you buy like a very complicated 1,000 piece. Maybe I don't know the price, but you spend good money and you buy 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. Imagine opening the box, expecting a good challenge, and guess what happens? Every piece has a number on it. And it's easy peasy, right? I mean, come on, you're looking for a good challenge. But no, know that life is about this. So you're not going to be very happy about buying this jigsaw puzzle. Well, guess what? Life is a jigsaw puzzle. And, learning a good piece of Torah, going into the Meforshim, understanding the wisdom that you can look at this word that way and look at the same word a different way. And it means both, right? And life is like that too, right? Something happens. It's the same situation. You could look in a positive way or a frustrating way. So that's what life is. Life is a jigsaw puzzle. Embrace and enjoy the challenge and the struggle, and enjoy the satisfaction when the final solution emerges. One of the most satisfying, meaningful endeavors of all, they all require exertion, as we spoke about in Megillah 6b, right? If a guy says, I worked hard and I didn't succeed, don't believe him. I didn't work at all and I succeeded, don't believe him. Only if he says he worked hard and he succeeded, then you can believe him, right? And that's basically it. Enjoy the challenge of life.
Wow. So is that a short lesson for tonight? I mean, let's face it, it's a very, very, very important lesson we all can apply.
Yeah, I do have some other source material, but I think it's all pretty much repetitive. Um, that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. So
Oh,
we're going to be on break for a few weeks. We'll see. I think because I do have family expected to arrive next Thursday night before Shabbat, and right now all the airports look like they're closed because of the situation. So I might be available, but might not be. So and then I have a wedding. My daughter's getting married the following Thursday night, and then we have a big Shabbat, a big Shabbaton in a hotel, and I really won't have time to. Well, we'll see.
well,
I
we
mean,
do appreciate all you do share. I know that Yibbenay's always doing all kinds of work. Your book's so solid. You know, I threw out the option of changing the time to make it more convenient, and you're just so straightforward with me. You don't have any other time slot available. You're a busy man, and we so are thankful that you're sharing the Torah with us.
well, thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I appreciate all the comments that come in privately or my email or through with either on your YouTube channel on the Facebook. And yeah, you're doing some great work, and
I try.
I look
I
forward to
try.
I look forward to talking to you privately as soon as we're finished this, like we always do every Saturday night. So
You're a blessing, Rabbi. I'm thankful for yourself, you know, and uh, like I've told you before, I really enjoy when you host Yibbenay, when you host Rabbi Breitowitz, always profound material, and yourself. I mean, I try to catch a couple of lessons here and there, at least one other message you do during the week, and I know that you're so involved in helping the community where you're at in Jerusalem. It's just an honor to spend some time with you.
I will share just real quickly a interesting piece of Torah about Shavuos. Okay, so by the way, Shavuos, Hashem's the Father, of course, and His daughter is the Torah, and
Mm.
people are the bridegroom. So we married Hashem's Torah. Okay, happens to be in the shul that I go to. I got the honor of Chasan Torah, of the bridegroom of the Torah this past Simchas Torah, and so what happens? Kli Yakar, I like to express, he gives through a lot of different ideas. The difference between a slave and a son-in-law, which I gave this year. If people want to listen to it, it was go back to just the shear that was just before I gave last Thursday night. Today I said is the 15th. Now it's the 16th. So just go back to the last Thursday night in May. And anyway, so I just want to hit one point though. Besides this whole idea of the difference between a slave and a son-in-law, the basic idea was a slave does it he works out of he's forced to work, and he basically is doing it for the prize he'll get at the end, whereas the son-in-law does it out of love. Okay, so one of the most important teachings in Judaism in Pirkei Avot, I think it's the first chapter, the third Mishnah, and Tiganos Ish Socho explains that you should not serve Hashem in order for a reward, right? Don't act like a servant who serves Hashem for a reward. You should do it out of love. Great. Very nice teaching. The previous teaching is Shimon Tzaddik, who says there are three pillars. The world stands on Torah, Avoda, and Gemilas Chasadim. And he's trying to explain that all of them are not just love, it's full of such bounty, and it's for free. Hashem is willing to give it the Torah, which is Shavuos, right? But basically, he wants to go through the verses to explain why they are for free, number one, and why you shouldn't charge. Not only shouldn't charge, you're getting more than the person who's supposedly getting it from you. Right? You're benefiting it. You're the one giving it, Torah, Avoda, and Gemilas Chasadim. We'll talk about what they are in a second. You're getting so much in return. How could you even think to charge? So Torah was a gift. We call it Matan Torah. Number one, it's a gift. But Moses himself said, I don't have all the verses in front of me. I have to apologize. But Moses says, I taught you. I gave you all these laws. There's a verse that says that. And he didn't charge. How could we charge? That's like the first idea. First of all, it's free. But wait, what about the bounty? We've discussed this before. Who do you learn the most from? The teacher himself learns the most from his students. So the payback is so much greater when, okay, I learned a lot from my teachers. I even learned more from my colleagues. But who did I learn the most from? I am gaining so much more when I give the Torah, when I'm sharing the Torah. That's my gain. So I wouldn't want to lose that. Number two, we call avoda is really prayer. So when I pray, I have my needs. I pray for my needs. Very nice. But what happens when my friend, somebody else, human being, needs the same thing? And I pray for him first, and then I pray for myself? Guess what happens? I get answered first. When I pray for someone else, my needs will be met first. Hashem will actually pay me, or not say pay, will grant me my requests before the other person even. So how can I charge someone for praying for them when it's going to benefit me even greater? Another idea. And what about Gomel Chesed? So there's a pasuk that says, there's a verse that says that when you scatter your money, you collect more in return. I forget where exactly in Proverbs it is. Maybe it's in Koheles, Ecclesiastes, I forget. So this idea that when someone needs help and you're willing to open up, remember, it's not even your money. You think it's your money, but you're doing God's will by helping someone else. So the verse explains that when you scatter the money, you gather even more in return. So it's just amazing that the Mishnah that says these are the pillars that the world stands on, the very following Mishnah in Pirkei Avos is the one that says don't serve your master in order to receive a reward. Because really it's all coming back to you anyway. You don't have to even think about it. Don't do it for that reason. Just know, have faith, know that you will receive it. Not that you want to receive it. Just know that you'll receive it. Anyway, that's just a little piece on the idea of Shavuos, Matan Torah. It was given to us as a gift, and the more we give it out into the world, the more we will benefit from it. Okay,
beautiful. I'm so thankful that you're willing to shine the light of Torah out of Israel, and I hope that the B'nai Noach appreciate it. I know I enjoy this class. I enjoy the 48 ways, the chapter 6 there. It's just beautiful. It's profound. It could be so unfurled and fluffed and talked about and chewed on and digested for a long time. And it's always something to review. So I want to thank you, Rabbi. So, folks, you can catch Rabbi Poston's material at yibbenay.com. Feel free to share this on social media. I'm thankful for everything he does, and we're praying for Jerusalem. We're praying for Israel, and we hope you're all safe there. It's after midnight there now, so you're so far into clear, you haven't heard any rockets firing or anything like that. So we're praying for you, and, keep standing strong, and thank you once again, Rabbi. So we're off next week.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be off this class for a couple of weeks, but we'll be back in a few weeks. Hashem willing, I'll keep you informed on social media. But thank you so much, Rabbi Poston. We're going to sign out for now and have a wonderful, wonderful week, folks.